Peace and Black Power families. Brother IJ Taimba from Harlem Liberation School. Well, as you know, we teach Black people to wake up, clean up, and stand up. On this first day of Black History Month, we have a powerful discussion centered on uh, the principle of Kugichagulia, a principle of self-determination that we know comes from the Nguzu Saba of Kwanzaa. And too often, Kwanzaa is treated as a seasonal observance rather than a guiding philosophy for our everyday lives. Um, so, Harlem Liberation School is promoting Kwanzaa 365, this idea that we should practice the Nguzu Saba or the seven principles of Kwanzaa every day and not just during the week of Kwanzaa. Right now, culturally, Kugichagulia is kind of a call to action for us to define ourselves, speak for ourselves, and organize for our collective advancement. Politically, though, it's a call to fight for sovereignty and nationhood. Joining me and Harlem Liberation School for this important discussion on the first day of Black History Month is none other than our brother Bomani Uhuru Jihad Shakur. He is a new African Revolutionary Nationalist who has been a conscious New African citizen of the Republic of New Afrika since 2002. He has served in various administrations of the Provisional Government of the Republic of New Afrika in numerous roles and offices. I'm just giving a few: Minister of Information, Deputy Minister of the Youth, and much more. Many of you may know him as the host of George Jackson University Radio, and he's also an active member of the Black August Organizing Committee. It's safe to say that our brother and comrade is dedicated to New African independence. Together, we're going to explore what Kugichagulia looks like in real life, how we can apply it to strengthen our families, our communities, and our movements, and what it truly means to take control of our own destiny. So let's get into it. I'm going to bring our good brother on. Peace, good brother. Free the land. How you doing?
Peace, brother. Free the land. By me necessary, brother. I'm well. How about yourself?
Hey, man, no complaints. I'm here with you, my brother.
Uh,
It's a beautiful place to be. Um, I want to get right into it, brother Bomani. I got some questions for you that I think will allow you to really open up on this issue. Uh,
uh,
the first, I guess, is about this issue of self-determination. I know you've dedicated your life to the struggle for new African independence. I'm hearing some feedback. Um, Let me turn this down. From your perspective, what does Kujichagulia or self-determination mean as individuals and as a collective?
okay. Well, as an individual, right, Kugichagulia talks about the aspect of naming yourself, the aspects of creating for yourself, the aspects of gaining understanding yourself, the aspect for devising and understanding yourself, right? You know what I'm saying, for that particular aspect. So in respect to that, a quote that G.S. Scott Harriman said, the first revolution started in the state of the mind state, right? So when you think about that realistically, right, in regards to creating yourself, that means you need to change your name. In retrospect, in regards to like we as catch new African citizens or subjugated nation in America have been colonized by the slave master, right? We haven't been given slave master names. We haven't given the names of the plantation owners. So in the aspect of naming yourself, we choose various African names, we choose various Yoruba names, we choose various Muslim names. Various names of various cultures and ideas and concepts that we embark on or embrace ourselves with or participate in, right? In the midst of naming those particular names, we develop a different type of mind state. And the first process of all of that is what you term a re-Africanization, right? Re-Africanization is basically a process going back to your African ancestors. Like Mark Garvey said, back to Africa. We know realistically that, but he had that African mind state. Late Tupac said, have an African name with an African brain, right? Even Queen Mother Moore stressed the importance of naming yourself. Once a person names his or herself, he or she embarks on a different way of life, right? Embarks on a different way of life in regards to learning more about himself, learning more about his culture, learning more about his observed history, learning more about things that resonate with you on a day-to-day basis that are not dealing with the aspects of the European education, American academic system that you're gonna receive, right? So you basically die becoming a new person, right? You're going from a new man, a new woman. That's what you develop into a new man, new woman through your own intellectual apparatus, your aspects of dealing with your culture, your idea, your concept, so forth and so on, right? It's a process. It's a process. Like right now, you're in Harlem. One of the process thing that's there in the nation of God, they know that the 5%ers, right? A lot of 5% start naming stuff, start giving a righteous name. My name might be Supreme, because Supreme means the highest being. The name might be magnetic, you know what I'm saying, which are the aspects of dealing with the elements, the aspect dealing with attraction, the pulls and the pushes of magnetic electricity, right? As well as the magnetic power and abilities, right? So the name and aspect is very essential. Like some people say they're reborn in themselves, some people say they're reforming themselves, or wherever it may be, right, in regards to your name. The name aspect, that's the first thing about it. The first thing about everything in regards to the aspect of self-determination. Self-determination give you the ability to make the decision to take names for yourself. Like for instance, right? We understand in history, uh, the Greeks and the Europeans say Hippocrates was the father of medicine. But in all actuality, we know Imhotep is the father of medicine, right? They basically renamed that aspect of things. So we got to go back to Sankofa and return back to the source in regard to fed back the information in regard to where we came from, in regard to the perspective of things, right? Now, whereas the individual, every individual is what we term in psychology, business psychology, as a human capital. Human capital. The greatest forms of human resource is humanity, right? Is each other, right? In the midst of that, in the midst of that aspect of being, right, like as a great resource to each other, that means that every individual must develop his or her forte, find what his or her skill set is, and to find out what his or her stance is in regards to nation building and movement development, and become an asset. And once he or her becomes an asset, then he or her can actually add on to the skill set, talents, and fortes of other individual and actually build something. If you're building a family, a man, woman, and child, if you're building a cadre, will consist of different format, will consist of different responsibilities and capabilities, you know what I'm saying, wherever you're building. But it started as an individual. And then like right now, there's a lot of talk about the aspects of Black History Month not being recognized, right? No, and we think about it historically, Carnegie which started Black History Week February the 7th, 1926, right? It was acknowledged nationally through the government until 1976, right? Which is 50 years later. But in all aspects of who we are, right, we must be teaching this history and the legacy within our own homes, right? Because we must not depend on a system that virtually hates us, the system that virtually enslaves us, that still enslaves us, the enslaved that still enslaves us, to actually care about our legacy, to care about where we came from, to care
Now,
about how we are into that, right? So it's on our responsibility to uphold that thing ourselves and push our own educational system, right? It's on us.
now, brother Bomani, I'm sorry to interrupt because you're getting ahead, and I want to make sure everybody gets it. I want to make sure we don't get too far ahead. But thank you
Okay.
for that. Those of you who tuned in, this is Harlem Liberation School online. We provide Black political education. It's the first day of Black History Month formally, but we believe, just as the case with Kwanzaa, that you should be celebrating Black History Month every day. It should be a lifestyle and a culture. That said, we got my brother Bomani Shakur on. If you haven't subscribed, family, please do so. If you hear an echo, please send a comment that you do. I think I'm hearing an echo. I want to try to deal with that. We might have to mute brother Bomani when the other person's talking. We might have to mute our mic. That might help. I'm not sure. But second question for you, good brother, and thank you again for your time. So many people celebrate Kwanzaa obviously in December, but they struggle to apply its principles year round. How do you, or let's say the Republic of New Afrika, practice Kugichagulia all year round And how would you suggest that our viewers can do the same?
Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you my philosophy, right? As a member of Black Organized Committee, right? Our philosophy is Black August 365. Now, in the midst of that, all those principles that we talking about in regards to Nuguta Saba, the seven principles, such as Kugichagulia, Nia, Iman, and so forth and so on, right? Ujima, Ujima, and all the other principles, right? We practice those principles through our daily lives. Like for instance, self-determination, right? Right now that we're talking about. You can do something basic, you do something basic, like from the aspect of just basically giving a list of names to an individual to name his or herself, right? That's an act of self-determination. Also, you can develop an aspect of learning how to build a community garden. These are basic, simple things to set determination. Learn about certain legal aspects, learning a skill set, right? Learning how to defend yourself. These are simpler aspects of self determination you practice year round and every day. Every day in regards to who you are. Those are simple techniques, right? You also can engage into study groups. You engage in learning a different language. You engage into cooperative economics with people. There's various ways you can do that in regards to expressing those particular principles and tenets year round, right? And those are all acts of resistance. We're resisting a system that was created to enslave us by our ways and actions. So we got to resist that in various ways, right? So those are just a few examples, just simple examples.
Okay. Thank you for that, good brother. Now, although we're talking about Kugichagulia and celebrating Kwanzaa year round, you are a member of the provisional government of the Republic of New Afrika. Some people that are watching this live or who may watch the recorded version may not know the importance of the RNA, what it stands for, and its history. If you could briefly tell us, what is the Republic of New Afrika, my brother?
Okay, well, the Republic of Africa is a formation, a revolutionary formation that set out to be a revolutionary government that was actually founded to a 2-day convention, March 31st, 1968, in Detroit, Michigan, right? With the whole sole purpose of becoming an independent nation. See, right now, uh, the nation is subjugated, which is oppressed. And the nation identified the 5 southern states of South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. And historically, we have populated these plant aspects of New Africa. We still populate to today, right? And we want to liberate those aspects and develop our own nation within this nation in particular and gain our independence. Same thing like people of the native tradition had did. The same thing tradition of the people of the Europe tradition, the old African village had did. We want to liberate ourselves and become independent. And once we become independent, we're gonna federate ourselves with other countries to identify with independence so we can get support that we need internationally, right? So Republic of Africa is bent on and striving to become an independent nation, right? Through self-determination. Basically having our own government, basically have our own military, our own schools, our own hospital, our own banks, our own everything, our own land, our own food source, basically control everything around us, right? And that basically push for the freedom of Africa, and there has been some downfalls in regards to as the struggles that have endured that resulted in various gun battles with the state from 69, 71, people being political prisoners, people being political exiles, and so forth and so on, right? So it's been various battles. It's not an easy thing.
Also, I want to see how I frame this. We always get in this weird thing, the black community. Bomani, could you try muting your mic? I just want to see. Yeah, I don't hear echo now. Okay. So a lot of times we get into this thing. Valentine's Day is coming up this month. A lot of black people are going to be buying teddy bears and candies, going to the movies and romantic dinners, right? And some people will say, you shouldn't just show love to your king or queen on Valentine's Day, which is right and exact. But is it also something to be said for taking out special days and to celebrate things like love and camaraderie and brotherhood? So people either do one or the other. And I kind of personally think that it's good to take certain days to commemorate things, but at the same time we should celebrate them all year round. What is your take on that, Brother Bomani?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's your take on that? I was saying, you got the people who say, we should celebrate this holiday. It's important to have commemorations for important principles. There's other people that say you should celebrate all year round. Isn't it possible to do both? What's your take?
Yeah, it's possible to do both because all those principles are needed for building our nation, right? They're needed for building our family. Like for instance, we practice cooperative economics, right? Basically working together. Like for instance, like I mentioned earlier, right? If we create a community garden, right? And everybody in the community engage into the garden. Everybody buying seeds, everybody put water in the plants, and everybody gathering resources for the materials, right? We all could benefit as a community, but basically starting as a family, we can benefit as a family first. The family doing it, we benefit as a community, right? Because we develop a unity with each other in the community, we getting to know each other, we learn what each other's skill set. We learn what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. We also develop an economic system and also develop an aspect of food sovereignty to feed ourselves, as well as develop a system that we pass down through the line. That the base prepares us to develop a farm, to really get into agriculture, so we be able to feed ourselves, but without the aspect of the state being involved, right? So yes, we can do that, right? Like you mentioned, I think I previously heard you mention about Valentine's Day or whatever, right? Um, we know historically that February the 13th considered Black Love Day. They're created by my mama Ayo Hande. Then also February the 14th through February the 20th, what is similar to Kwanzaa, is a Coma Day. We created a Coma Day that's similar to Kwanzaa through the different attributes, right? And Black Love is an expression that we express it every day as well, right? So a lot of this stuff that we see is not just a time period or consider a celebration or consider just a holy day or holiday or whatever, right? Doing certain aspect. It's things that we can do every day through our life, right? We can express Black love every day, what I'm saying, to our particular significant other, particular mate, wife, wherever it may be, right? We can practice every day. Just as whether the wife and the woman can do the same as that thing. We practice every day. We also practice Black love within our own community, right? By loving our fellow brothers and sisters in the community. We can do that. What I'm saying? Those are principles we can do every day in regards to who we are. So these principles, a lot of times people take things out of context in regards to who is associated with certain things. Just because certain individuals did certain things in regard to associations, or just because people benefit from some associations or certain concept ideas, right? They won't really look at the value of what being discussed or what being expressed, and how can it better us, right? We can better ourselves in all the approaches of life in regards to dealing with these principles every day in our life, right? By dealing with the form of resistance, it's an act of resistance. All these principles act of resistance. We practice self-determination. We practice active resistance every day. We learn to defend ourselves, defend ourselves physically, well, and mentally. So we learn how to protect ourselves. We learn how to use our creativity to do things that are gonna better ourselves in life. Wherever it may be. So the act of self-determination is our natural birthright. It's our birthright. As we know, our people who can't went through slavery, they didn't willing, oh, I'm gonna be a slave. They didn't volunteer. Oh, I'm just gonna get on the boat. No, we didn't say that. No, we fought. And our resistance still being shown by our bloodline, the very genetics that we have. We steady resisting, right? You may do it a lot of them might do it in a negative way by doing negative things, but it's still an active resistance because it's in our bloodline to resist. It's in our genetic being to be free people, to be liberated people. You know what I'm saying? To be nationalist, because we're a nation builder. It's in our essence.
Okay.
Yeah, you.
Thank you for that, good brother. I hope you all are paying attention, taking your notes. We got brother Bomani Shakur with us. I'm brother Ajay Taimba. You're here at Harlem Liberation School online. We want to make sure that we put your comments up, and we're going to make sure that if could you mute real quick, brother Bomani, just when I'm talking. That's all. Yeah. Could you make could you please put your questions? You may have questions, family. The brother's here now. After this show's over, it's over. But if you have questions, particularly as it relates to self-determination, Kugichagulia, Kwanzaa, how we apply it, please put your questions up. As soon as I see them, I'll put them up, and maybe our good brother, we'll kind of chop it up around those issues. I'm interested, brother Bomani, how do you think that self-determination helps individuals? So, for instance, if you were talking to, let's say you had a little daughter and she's 10, and she said, Daddy, what's self-determination? I don't understand. How would you explain it to her in a way where she understands why she should participate in the acts of self-determination, how she benefits as an individual from that? How would you explain that to her?
Well, repeat the question because when you were talking, it paused.
Okay. I was saying, imagine that you were speaking to a child, like a little 8 to 10-year-old, and they said, Brother Bomani, what is self-determination, and how do I get involved with that? How would you explain it to the child so that they understand what it is and why it's important for them as a young person?
Okay. Well, for instance, right, you can get the child to understand that that he or she um, doesn't want people to control them, right? In the midst of, like, for instance, right, if somebody telling you that you can't do a certain things because of the color of your skin, right? Because of the shape, the hue of your skin, and because of your historical complexion, right? Because your ethnic background. Um, it'd be very important to let them know that you can do it, that you come from a lineage of people that have been great scholars, great mathematicians, great thinkers, great creators, great inventors, right? And that itself can give you the power that you need to fight against the discrimination that have been discriminating against yourself with as an individual, right? And also that you have the power and ability to be great, just like the individual, even greater. Because a lot of times our youth themselves, right, they mimic what they see older people do, their parents, elders, aunties, uncles, or older people. They mimic that, right? So if you telling this child this and also showing and improving this, right, it'll make them a better person in regards to knowing the reason why self determination is very important, right? Also the aspect of why we should take responsibility to create ourselves, name ourselves, to share for ourselves, to show our creativity with yourself, you know what I'm saying, to own things ourselves, to show those responsibility and show those attributes in regards to just a day-to-day life, right? Because day-to-day life, for instance, like if a person tells you you can't go to the bathroom, right? You got to fight to go to the bathroom. That's a determination. There's no child that wants somebody to tell them not to go to the bathroom when they got you the bathroom. There's no child that's hungry and they see food and they can't eat it. They don't want to hear that they can't eat. That's self determination, you know, or play the video game, or look at the TV, or play with some toys when they want to, when they got the capability to do so. That's self determination. So they're gonna resist that. They resist that aspect. They're just from a child perspective though. They're gonna resist that. They're the same thing for adults. We don't want them out telling them what to do. We don't want them out oppressing us, you know. So determination needed for all children to know that they got to fight against oppression, that they shouldn't be oppressed, that they should be free and liberated and independent, and be able to decide for themselves, be able to define themselves in every way of life. Not just naming themselves, not just by adopting a name or culture or idea, but being able to define themselves on all levels, politically, socially, economically, militarily, you know, philosophically, education wise, be define themselves on all levels, period.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like that. And as you're talking, brother Bomani, I'm thinking just to build on what you said. I'm a teacher, so I always think about how I'm explaining something, how young in a way young people can understand it. Because ultimately they're going to be the legs of the movement to carry on and pick up the baton and run forward with our ideas and our revolutionary activities. And one of the things I think about all the time is being in classrooms, right? And talking to young people about some of these concepts and trying to get them to understand this idea of ownership, but not ownership in a capitalist way. Like, meaning, I would tell them, look at the clothes you have on right now. So they would look at their sweatshirts. I'd say, who made that? Nike, Adidas, Mister. Why are you asking? Why are you asking them questions, Mister? What's that got to do? Who makes them sneakers you got on? How much do they cost? Some of them cost $200-$300, good brother, and more, right? So I'm going. Look, let me look at your jeans. Who made them jeans? They breaking it down, and I'm trying to get them to see you're wearing someone else's goods. And some of you are actually wearing someone else's name. They put their name on it. They brand it in the same way they branded our ancestors. They put a mark on our skin and our body to try to say that we were their property. So when you're wearing these things, you're wearing their property, even though you bought it, and you're giving free advertising. Wouldn't it be nice if you were wearing your sweatshirt that your family made, or your sneakers that your village made, or the name of your housing community was named after a hero or shiro from your community, so that they can wrap their minds around this idea of controlling your means of production, if you want to take it in the communist Marxist way, your names. I mean, think about it. You get to a Chinese person, they got a Chinese last name. Japanese person got a Japanese last name. Then here I am, Ronald Wilson Smith Jones Bruckner, Shaquille O'Neal, like helping kids, man, and their parents to understand that when we talk about self-determination, we're talking about reclaiming. Like in 1991, I got rid of my European names, and I took the names Ajay Ajamu Taimba. And that meant something to me because I never felt like the name I had really fit me, if you feel me. I didn't feel like it fit me. So once I knew my first daughter was coming to the world, man, so I'm changing. I don't want her to be born with the white man's names. And I'm not knocking people who have European names. I'm just saying that's an example. To name yourself, family, is self-determination, right? To even collectively, we was colored, we was Negroes, we was Afro-American, we was African, all types of things. New African. These are all attempts, whether you agree with each label, these are attempts for our people to name ourselves. That is a definite act of self-determination, making our own products, growing our own food, right? All of that is important. Just for people who are watching, who trying to figure out how can I explain this, to some of the young people in the community who may not really wrap their minds around the politics of it. But if you help them understand, they are walking, talking billboards for other people. Fam, I mean, we're literally advertising other people's products. What would happen if we were advertising our own and having young people to think about whatever you like to do in your spare time? You like video games? What would happen if you had to pay another man for that video game, enriching their family? What would happen if, I don't know, you made your own game and you sold it on the market? So I'm trying to get people to see. We go to all these people's restaurants and we big them up. Like that's supposed to show that we're worldly. But guess what? They taking our money. And like Malcolm said, when the sun go down, they leaving town and going back to their neighborhood. And that money that you gave them is going to invest in their communities, their homes, right? Their economy, their kids in college, and setting them up in businesses. So this principle, family, for those watching, is of great importance. It has economic implications, political implications, so on and so forth. Back to my good brother, Bomani Shakur. And by the way, the brother's bio, I could have read more, but the brother does a lot. He wears a remarkable amount of hats. I have great respect for you, good brother Bomani, because our people got gift to gab. But what we need today is people to know how to get in the lab. In other words, do the work and let the work speak for ourselves. Donald Trump ain't doing just a lot of talking. He's executing, family, and executing in ways that are not so good for us. So, brother Bomani, let me ask you this: what is the importance of independent black organizations as we talk about self-determination? How does self-determination relate to, let's say, having our own schools or political parties or things of that nature?
Okay, well, first off, right, the Democratic Republican Party was created during slavery. Our ancestors were still enslaved when they were created, right? So neither party is for us. And that's the first thing, right? And then also, the United States Constitution just say we three-fifths of a man. Therefore, we are subhuman. We're animals. We're barbarians, right? Okay. Another thing is that in regards to what the particular political regime is doing right now in regards to the education, right, which he was already doing before he came in office, with the critical race theory, taking out our history books out of school. People always complaining about the American education system not teaching us nothing when it doing what it doing what it's designed to do in order to reach out to certain European people that he want to teach, because the American education system not they created for certain types of European to get a certain type of education, and some would want to say the elite individuals to get a certain type of education. So we know already that it's not designed for us anyway, when it's designed for certain European people. So it's our responsibility to look really at what the African education is about, which is a revolutionary school of thought in regards to transforming ourselves. Like if we talking about Kugichagulia self-determination. That's an expression of absent education, because we know that we must educate ourselves. In regards to educating ourselves, we must gain a history of our ancestors, a history of our particular achievements in America, particular achievements all over the world. We know about our inventors, our scientists, our philosophers, our theoreticians, our psychologists, our educators, so forth, so on, and how we can benefit from obtaining this information, and also how we use the information to advance ourselves as an individual, advance ourselves as a family, advance ourselves as a community, and eventually advance ourselves as a nation and gain that particular independence that we're talking about. So it's almost important to learn more about the African education and why it has been pushing, because we look at the thing from the 60 perspective, right? In the university and college, they wasn't allow us to learn the African history, right? So we had to fight for the African history to be established. We started saying the Black Student Union, things of that nature, learn the information. We had to fight during the 60s to start Africans in the schools. Like when the first Africans in the school were Ujamaa, that were created in DC by Baba Zulu. He created that particular school that still exists today. It's an African education school. We have very other African schools that's all around, from Colombo, from Coleman University, Harlem Liberation School, so forth, so on, right? So it's imperative that we teach our own history, and that we our teacher look like us, so we get a better understanding in regard to our particular social economic climate, our particular educational aspect, and also the people that can actually identify with a particular struggle and the calamity and adversity that you went through as an individual. So it's imperative that we learn these different things, and gain these particular experiences, right? Like, we know that American MCA they teach about people like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung and Alfred Adler as psychologists, right? But what about the Dr. Amy Wilsons? What about the Dr. Francis Cress Wilson? What about Dr. Kamal
Right.
Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
What about all these? What about these different individuals they're pushing the aspect of the social science to better ourselves? Even in like Dr. Neely Fuller, who's had never been a psychiatrist, but is one of the more brilliant social science that ever to grace the planet Earth. And he don't have none of those degrees or none of them doctors or doctor degrees in them individuals got. But he inspired Dr. Frances Wilson to write the oxygen paper. He inspired her, you
That's
know.
right.
like that, he's still teaching and spreading information at 90 plus years old to this day. Still doing the work. A lot of people
Right.
I've seen some of the animations he got on YouTube. The people about animations of him talking, which is a beautiful thing. He still educating people, passing the teaching, right? You
That's
know,
right.
that's all absent education. Absent education is revolutionary. It not only changes your mind, but it changes your conditions. When we start learning about these things from a holistic perspective, we learn that it's important that we learn about agriculture. It's important that we learn how to build a nation. It's important that we learn how to build. It's important that we have our own schools that look like that identify with. It's important that we have our own psychology that look like us, that talks like us. It's important that we have our own politics and political structure and government that look like us. It's important that we have our own hospitals that treat us, our own medicine that look like us. It's important that we have all these things. It's
Yes,
important.
sir.
That's a self-determination.
That's
Being
right.
in control, of everything around you, being in control of your particular environment, control your politics, control your economy, control your social surrounding, your social sign, your social development, control your economic development, control your military development, control your psychological development, so forth and so on, right? So it's on us to do that. But it's all started with yourself as an individual. You got to see that you got to find that self-determination within yourself. We both, me and you both made a decision to educate ourselves. We both made a decision to adopt African names. We both made the decision to continue to fight. We both made the decision to be on their broadcast. That is self-determination in the simplest
That's
form.
right.
It's
That's
about
right. Now
decision.
let me ask. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. I think when we talk about self-determination, it's a natural opening for the importance of political education because it seems like a lot of our people, we've been thoroughly miseducated, told we are nothing, have nothing, can be nothing. So a lot of Black people have never once thought, as much as I buy people's clothes, use their computers, play their games, read their books, and write their movies, some Black people on this earth have never once thought, maybe I should try to write a movie. Maybe I should write a book and tell my life story. Maybe I should make a toy, a game, clothing. How do we get our people to that place, Brother Bomani, where we see potential in ourselves to be owners and producers of these things and not just consumers of other people's things?
Well, the best way to get people to understand it is to show them by example. Because you know what I'm saying, our people have been believing in what the believing in what America has been telling them for so long, right? And one thing they've been telling them is to hate each other, to hate us, to hate each other, right? To be divided, divide and conquer, conquer and rule, right? So when we say certain things, majority of the time people don't believe us or really think it's true. It's not until we actually show them and bring things in concrete aspect like a brick and mortar or like a school, like a bank, like a hospital or whatever. Show them brick and mortar and show them you can accomplish these things. Then our people started believing us. You know, they're just way out of our mind state because we addiction program and traumatized for so many centuries that we still express these things through our ways and actions. But so that's the best way I see to show and prove. You know what I'm saying? By ways and actions.
That's right.
We got to be them example. We got to be the example to the people
That's right.
because
I
people
agree
here
with that.
all the time. They hear stuff. Like people hear people talking and they see podcasts, they see videos, and they see movies. They hear people talking all the time. But where's the action at? They're looking for action.
That's right. And then I think adding on to what you said, showing and proving is always the biggest thing. They say kids will always hear what we say, but they definitely pay attention to what they see us do. And then furthermore, this is where the education comes in, I would think, Brother Bomani, because some people, when they go, for instance, if you go walk downtown, I'm in New York, obviously. You go walk downtown, there's beautiful buildings, big old skyscrapers. We marvel. Say, oh my God, look at that. Look at that. And the political education comes in because it says, yeah, that's beautiful. I can see beauty in what other people do. But did you know at the first skyscraper were pyramids? Did you know that? You see, getting people to connect things that you see here, your ancestors put it there 30 something thousand years before these people even walked the earth, right? So showing and proving, and also taking them to that history, making the history come alive by letting them know, oh, you had a brain surgery, huh? Wow, how did it go? Did you know that there's a papyrus in what the white man calls Egypt, or Kemet, written by Imhotep, that details brain surgery that they still refer to? So now you see, so now we're connecting to our people. It's taking nothing away from other people. We are sophisticated enough to know that Black people aren't the only people that did things of importance in the world. But what we are saying is, just about anything you see that's technologically advanced, or you want to talk about music, law, science, cosmology, medicine, guess who put it here first? And that's very important. That's where months like Black History Month can really be used to help people understand, Brother Bomani, what we're talking about, self-determination. If people knew what their ancestors did, it would blow their minds. But you know, sometimes we come up in this world, you look at the movies, you think every white person got a house. If you look at the movies, right? Every white person got a vehicle, every white person doing good, every white person married and kids. No. And on the flip side, you would think all Black people grew up with no daddy. All Black people poor. Black people ain't got no education. So a lot of this has to do with the media's portrayal of us, and the fact that our miseducational system has disconnected or tried to erase our history. So all of this is important. Brother Bomani, let me ask you, man, because I know you really do a wonderful, one of the very important roles you play is in the media. And you're a host of the George Jackson University Radio. And I would like to know, how do you think media plays a role in this whole concept of naming ourselves, defining ourselves, standing up for ourselves, or self-determination? And how do we take control of our own narratives instead of letting others define us? What do you think of the role of media in Kugichagulia?
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to say, media is an devil in America, right? Man, we look at it from that perspective, and we know the majority of the media is controlled by outside sources, right? So every opportunity we get, like the opportunity we get right now, we controlling the narrative. We telling our stories, we telling our truth, we telling our reality, we expressing our wisdom, we expressing our ways of action to the mind and the mass of the people. So the media can be utilized for the purposes of leading people to certain standpoints, where they can get certain information and get certain resources. It also can be a place where we actually tell our narrative and tell our story, right? And in the midst of that, that means that we got to create our own media platforms that are absent of the oppressor, absent of the state, that are all New African control. And once when they get New African control apparatus, then we have we can get better results in regard to reaching our people, in regards to what we got going on. You know, it can be more beneficial that way with regard to controlling the media. Then we can be able to show people what types of acts of resistance that we gonna have in regards to our fight for independence, our fight for freedom. Now, so we can talk about the aspects of 1804, the Haitian Revolution. We can talk about 1957, the Ghana Revolution. We can talk about 1969, the fight of New Bethel. We can talk about people like George Jackson. We can talk about different individuals that have paved the way in regard to our liberation by using that media as a particular way and a method as a tool for our particular narrative by telling our story. And I yield.
Hey, you. I know you dig in Harlem Liberation School, all those interviews and those mini documentaries. Stop playing. You know Harlem Liberation School is fire. So what you need to do right now, if you're watching on YouTube, is click that red subscribe button. Share the video, add your comments, and click the notification bell. All right, we had a quick little promo there, brother Bomani. You got to keep reminding the people, man. You know, I just saw some metrics of the channel. Over 3,000 people watched this week. But what happens is people will watch if you like them, and they may forget to subscribe. So that's why we do that, family. Just to remind you, we need your support so we can get larger and reach more of our people. Because you're not going to get this on CBS, NBC, or ABC, if you know what I mean. That said, Brother Bomani, got another question for you now. One of the important things, projects or initiatives that you are affiliated with is Black August. I know that you worked with the Black August organizing committee. As such, you've addressed issues of our brothers and sisters that are political prisoners and captured revolutionaries in the belly of the beast. What lessons do you think from Black August do you think can help our community become more committed to this idea of self-determination?
Okay, well, the motto of Black August is fast, train, steady, and fight, right? You know, in the midst of that, Black August as a whole is an entire month from August the 1st, August 31st, of different sacrifices, right? You sacrificing by fasting, for sun up to sundown. You sacrificing by not shopping with the oppressor. You sacrificing by refraining from certain ideas and concepts on the TV, and also from your vernacular and ways and thoughts and negative thoughts and images, right? You fast from those particular aspects, but it's also teach you during that time period to build institutions, to create programs and institutions that can carry out through the whole year and decades, to teach you to train together, um, to learn different self defense aspects together, to learn different African languages, learn different skill sets together, and so forth and so on. Right, teach you all these things during the month of Black August that can be pushed on through the whole year of Black August 365. 366 during the leap year. So these aspects of self determination resonate within the Group of Saba. It resonate with principles you every day. It resonate with living a lifestyle of a liberated person, and also they resonate with a person who's self-determined to basically change a particular narrative, right? So they resonate with that, in regards to that, and also shows the active resistance because, but self-determination, that means we're defending ourselves, on various levels. We might defend us legally, right? So in the midst of that, we doing it because we are oppressed, we subjugated. We in a system, but we victimized of a system that actually exploits us for capital gain, for capital need, right? So by learning the active resistance during the month of Black August, we can be able to practice the active resistance year round in everything we do. We resisting right now. We practicing Black August resistance right now. We practice self-determination resistance right now by spreading the information, by doing the interview. We practice it right now as we speak. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And you know what, family? Self-determination also can exist. I know that most when we think of these principles, we're thinking politically, right? But understand this: when you're in your apartment and you're really hungry and you're like, damn, I'm hungry. Then a commercial comes on with the Big Mac and the soda and the beads of condensation running down the cup. And let's order to get some McDonald's. And somebody in your house says, you know what though? McDonald's has announced that it's no longer committed to hiring Black people, Latino people, poorer people. So you know what? Instead of putting our money to the white man who shows us no love, why don't we go to the local fish and chip spot in the neighborhood, or we have food in the refrigerator we could cook. It could be as simple as saying, you know what, I'm going to cut down on that red meat. It's clogging up my arteries. It could be saying, you know what, instead of using my time in this way, in this direction, in an aimless, wasteful way, I'm going to spend my time doing this. I'm going to invest the time in a way that helps in my intellectual development or helps me build my business or helps me bond with my family. So self-determination, I want you to be clear, it can be manifested in many different ways. I just want to, I think we have a comment. Here we go. We got a question, Brother Bomani. Sister Kimberly Tucker asks, are there any organized Black August events we can participate in, attend, or share with others? And just so you know, y'all thinking it's February. Why is she talking about Black August? Because it's all year around. That's just when we commemorate, right? So that's an excellent question, my sister. Brother Bomani, what do you think?
Well, one of the first events that come to my mind is an event we have in May the 3rd in Atlanta. They call the National New African Unity Summit, right? And hosted by Black Organized Committee. That's an event that's coming up in May. You know, we also got one coming up in August the 3rd in Baltimore. We also have a few other that they're gonna be going on during the months of May, June, and other months that coming up as well. Gonna be in different areas. So those are the two right now that I can speak about that we're actually being planned on right now in particular, right? And you can get the information from myself. You can see it on the Jordan University Facebook page, Instagram page. You can get it on my page, Bomani Shakur. It being shared all around, or you can contact me through my email, BomaniShakir80@gmail.com or Jordan University 71@gmail.com. These things are going around because we know Black Out 365 is our culture, a revolutionary culture. It's a culture of self-determination, a culture of Kugichagulia. We practicing year round every day. So during a particular event, we want to share the different ideas and concepts, and initiatives and programs that coming out of Black August to the Georgia University, such as Autonomy Infrastructure Mission, such as the Asada Alert Network that talks about or speaks about the aspects of women now how to defend themselves from attacks, you know what I'm saying, from being captured, the retrieval of our men, women, and children, new African men and women and children that they're being kidnapped. You know, the aspect of secure African community, creating the aspect of creating forms, aspect of learning self defense in the community. You know, our science program for the youth, different things. Liberate our elders, liberate people, our elders that are a lot of in behind enemy lines, incarcerated, educating people behind enemy lines. You know, develop a emergency response network. So when natural disaster happen, we'll know about the bug out bag, the bug in bag. We'll know about safe houses. We have our own community ambulance. We have our own community triage. We'll be able to repair ourselves, learn how to stop bleeding, learn how to holler to help about different herbs that we find in the woods or in the neighborhood that can sustain our health. Things that are edible, you know, stuff like that, right? Different
That's right.
programs coming out Black August. You know, we're gonna be talking about these different programs, but also giving people opportunity to express their concepts and ideas as well, represent their particular organization formation, also music. It's gonna be a base, like, you know, aspect for us to get to know each other, to get to know each other, to see what skill sets and talent skills and similarities we got, and how we unite those aspects and start really doing some work for real. You know, not just really talking about. You know,
That's right.
that's what event taking place in May.
Thank you for that. Kimberly Tucker, excellent question. Brother Bomani, thank you for that information. Um, I want we are actually basically out of time, but Brother Bomani, let's end on this note. Um, and after we finish and Brother Bomani leaves, I'm gonna talk for 5 more minutes to announce an event. So don't go anywhere. Um, a call to action, good brother. If you had to give 3 action steps that our viewers who watch this live or the recorded rendition later that they could take right now, starting today, to embody Kugichagulia in their homes, in their communities, what 3 things would you tell them to do as action steps?
Well, the first action step I say is that um, develop a strong relationship with your family, right? Develop a strong relationship with your family in regards to uh one of the main things I'm looking at now, economics within the family, right? Develop an economic system within your family of business, so to speak, within your family. Also develop a relationship with your family in regards to food sovereignty, and also develop a particular aspect in your family where you can learn defense as well as education. Those are three things, maybe four. You know what I'm saying? That I feel like they're very imperative to start within your family first. You know, before you go to the community and society. Yeah.
That, my brother. I think Zariah Douglas loves that answer as well. Very good. I want to just, before we leave, good brother, if you don't mind, I just want to shout out a very special black woman, just as chocolatey as she could be, lovely. And she actually, as we speak for the last 2 weeks, and actually longer, she exercises self-determination. You know, she actually builds and creates stuff right in our home. We ain't got to go run into the white man to get his interior decorators and designers. She'll take something unbelievable. This is my queen, by the way, Sister Brenda. I have her picture up there, her icon. Really unbelievable. She'll take a closet door and make a whole partition and it's just amazing. Makes her own islands. You know how you have an island in the kitchen? You could chop your stuff, makes it herself. So again, family, this thing of self-determination applies in a million ways. Fashion designers, you might say, I'm going to make some jeans that fit our brothers and sisters well. It ain't overly tight, revealing everything, but comfortable and stylish. You know, so artists, you might say, I'm going to do an art that has a politic to it, an art that appeals to young people, an art that has a message. Hip hoppers, spoken word poets like me, you might say, I'm going to start doing poetry that ain't talking about women's anatomy. They ain't saying that women are bees and hoes and iggers, right? All of those are forms of self-determination. Taking what you got, what the creator gave you as a gift or inspiration, and bending it in a way that inspires and edifies, protects it, and even may help our people eat, help our people survive. I think this is particularly important right now, our brother Bomani, with this president that this country got. There's going to be some difficult days ahead, so we're going to have to definitely be exercising some self-determination. What are your last thoughts on that, brother? Because of Trump being in office, we really got to get with that, right?
Yeah, it really sad in a lot of ways because me myself as well as you, we've been talking about this thing. We've been talking about this stuff for decades. We talking about this stuff for decades. Now, the things we've been saying for decades, people really start to realize exactly what's going on now, right? You know, and it takes situations like this to push people to give them a push in regard to becoming independent, right? Because when you think about it, what a lot of these things that he pushed in regards to the civil rights, the education, and other things, right? Those things are geared toward the aspect of pushing us to segregation. You know, now we know throughout our history that the segregated time was our best times, right? Having our own communities, having our own government, having our own military, have our own education, our own school, bank, doctors, and everything of that nature, right? We know those are our best times. Once we can't integrate it with the oppressor, we start exemplifying those oppressor ways, right? This is really a time for us to really sit back and reflect in regards to damn why things are this way. Why are we experiencing blatant racism? Why are we going through the aspect that we're dealing with a dictator? Why are we experiencing the aspects of white nationalism and fascism at a higher level? You know, when we're supposed to be preparing ourselves for this anyway and getting ready for it, because as we see and know, a lot of our ancestors, had experienced this, had shown and proved us what's going on with this, have taught us, have left lesson for us that we still use today. So this is an opportunity for us to advance. It's an opportunity for us to what they say capitalize. We can capitalize off the education of knowing this and move forward and actually do something constructive that gonna be beneficial to not only to our family but to our community and our nation. So there's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to sit back and reflect. Like, damn, why RG Timber you been talking about this? Why Bomani been talking? Why Dr. Frank West been talking? Why Dr. Amy Woods been talking about it? Why Malcolm X was talking about it? Why Callie Muhammad was talking about it? Why Queen Mother Mo was talking about it? Why Martin Luther King was talking about this? You know, why these different individuals talking about these different things? Like for instance, this Black History Month, we started a Black History Week by Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson told her in the education and miseducation of Negro that he basically, I'm to paraphrase, he's saying that if a door oppression not basically created, we recognition so programmed, they wouldn't create the door oppression for ourselves. And as we know, we are our own liberators, but we also our own oppressors, if we so choose as well, right? So that's why I want to leave y'all with.
That's what's up, brother. Brother Bomani, man, thank you not just for this particular broadcast, but for all the work you have done that we know about, and I'm sure the tons of work you've done we may not even know about. We thank you for that. We need more people that are putting in the work, not worried about status, title, who's getting money, who did what, who get credit. We need people to do the work. We really need people to get into that work. So, Ryan, you're absolutely right. We need to educate, to liberate. My lovely queen, Brenda, she says, yes, we got to advance with no fear. And Kimberly, I think, reiterates what I just said. Thank you for all your works. The queen says again also to make sure you all subscribe. It's another thing we got to do. You determine who you support. When you voted for a certain person, you supported them. When you bought a certain dress, when I bought my sweatsuit, sneakers, whatever we bought, we're supporting. Remember this, family. When you're doing these things, you are supporting someone. So, you know what? My father used to say, Black people got to support those that support us. Very simple. It's a simple concept. FUBU, remember that company, FUBU, for us, by us. We got to start thinking like that in a nationalistic, Pan-African sort of way. And we're going to find that if we do that, we'll make great, great strides. So right there, you see a Cash App, family. You like this content? It ain't talking about iggers and hoes and bees and all that foolishness. It's sparking thought. It's making you feel like you at home, huh? Then you can support at that Cash App. Brother Bomani, man, we want to thank you, brother, for coming out, spending some time. We gonna stay in touch, brother. You ain't no guest, man. You family. So if you was in the house, I tell you, man, go in there and get your own water, brother. You family. You ain't no guest. So
Yes,
you always welcome back. We're gonna be in touch with you, good brother, to know about events. If you have events and you want to get them out, let me know. We'll put them up here. That's how we do, my brother. All right.
okay. Again, okay, brother. Again, I want to appreciate you, brother, for the work, the dedication you don't have for decades, man. I mean, you continue to be prospering in what you do, man. Like this is a reality, man. You got to educate, liberate, man. Liberation comes in the form of our independence, man. And I appreciate you, brother. Keep moving forward. Keep doing what you do, bro. You know what I'm saying? And may prosperity be upon you and peace and power. Free
Many
the land.
thanks. Free the land, good brother. Free the land.
Body mean that, sir.
All right. Now, family, thank you for joining us for that particular interview. We're gonna have Brother Bomani back. You can best believe that. We got a lineup for you, family, for this Black History Month. Some stuff is still in the works. But we're gonna have, first of all, let me tell you, fam, I'm gonna show this to you because you need to see this. Give me 1 second. All right. Yeah. Can everybody see that? I hope everybody can see that. Family, I had a particular incident recently. I've been talking with my peoples. I listen to people and watching the news and people watching YouTube and TikTok and spreading all these things and didn't even verify if it's true. And it told me we have to do a broadcast in terms of political education where we talk about rumors and lies. How do you handle it? I'm talking about particularly people in the movement for Black liberation, for sovereignty and self-determination. Like, how do you handle it? Somebody comes to you and says, yo, did you hear about Brother Bomani Shakur? Oh, he did. How do you handle that when somebody comes to you and says something very ugly about somebody else in the movement that you happen to know is involved integrally in doing very important work? How do you respond? Do you start yapping with him for 10 minutes about, oh, tell me more about what he did? Is that how we do that? Or do we say, well, just so you know, brother, sister, I don't entertain that type of talk about my brothers and sisters. If that's true, I find out, but I don't do that. I don't participate in gossip like that, right? We have to talk about this, family, because here's the thing. I'm going to stop sharing that. The thing is this. When people in our community come to you and say bad words about other brothers and sisters, you know, their personal life, their relationship life, whatever they're doing, and you don't know how to handle that, this is what happens. You become unwittingly an unwitting agent for the government that's trying to sabotage our organizations, infiltrate our organization, and cause disunity and division. I say this because we know that in COINTELPRO, one of the key things they did was they intercepted letters between organizations. They had people that spread rumors. They had people calling people agents and all types of stuff to create division. So by this time, 2025, we have to develop a protocol. When this happens, what do? Somebody comes, you say, oh, he's an agent, she's an agent, or this person didn't do this, or they. How do we handle that in a way that does not make our community and our organization more vulnerable to sabotage efforts? It's very important. We can't just quote COINTELPRO. We can't just talk about, did you know what the white man did? We got to use it clinically. What do we learn and how do we move forward? So that's something we're going to be doing. I believe that's coming up Tuesday or Wednesday. Check the channel at 7. We're going to have Brother Carlito Rivera, Baba Carlito Rivera, from the original member of the Young Lords Party. He's going to be talking to us about the need for Black and Latino unity and solidarity in a revolutionary way. Now, I talk about just socializing. We talk about getting stuff done to protect our communities and why we need some political education to understand whatever issues that we had when we was coming up or whatever, understand that there are Latinos here who know where they come from, family, and who are fighting for their own liberation and, depending on their place of origin, sovereignty. And that in these days and times, we may need to think about forming very important revolutionary alliances. Very important. So he's going to be on to talk about the history of Black, and in this case, particularly Puerto Rican solidarity coming out of the 60s and the 70s. We're going to have a sister whose name escapes me right now. She's going to be talking about, she's written a book on Black cooperative enterprises in the country. She's documenting all these different cooperatives that Black people built to create our own economic engines and enterprises. Self-determination, right? And she's been voted into the Cooperative Hall of Fame. She's a serious sister. And she's going to be breaking down, when we talk about cooperative economics, what does that mean? What does it look like? What are the benefits? How do we get started? So this whole month, family, and going forward, it's about Kwanzaa 365 and Nguzo Saba all year round, every day. People that we bring on for the most part, with a few exceptions, because 7 principles doesn't always cover what everyone does. But the people we bring on for the most part will be embodying one of these principles to help you understand how we could take a principle and actually operationalize it on the ground. So you don't just read it and recite it in December, that you see this is a living principle that you can actually participate in yourself. So I'm really excited about what we got coming forward, family. Thank you for your time and energy. Thank you to Brother Bomani. To all the family, please subscribe, spread the word. The channel is growing with your support and will continue to with your support. That being said, you know, family, I'm going to say, no matter what Donald Trump is doing, the enemy is doing within our village and outside our village, if we organize, if we study, if we apply lessons from the past, if we have unwavering faith in ourselves, we will win. And in some respects, we're winning already and don't even know it. The white man is scared. All over the planet, he's falling. Burkina Faso done kicked his ass out. Chad kicked him out. Africans on the continent waking up. Family, do y'all see what's happening? Don't just focus on the negative. See what's happening around the world, right? This thing called BRIC, these non-US, these countries are aligning, creating their own economic system. 20-something countries, family. Almost like the Bandung Conference in the 50s, but more economically based. There's some good things happening, family. Don't let the media get you all negative out. With that said, family, thank you for joining us. Peace and Black Power. Free the land. We got this. Have faith and keep working hard. Thank y'all, family. Peace.
Peace.